Here's the satisfying sound of one's impalement.
Hello and welcome to Gun Theory. Today we're taking a look at Resident Evil 4's Matilda. In real life, this would be the HK VP70M. We will be judging the Matilda on three major categories: appearance, performance, and general circumstances. Let's jump right into appearance. At a glance, this handgun looks very much like the VP70. We can see that the front sight is done right, as it has two posts with a void in the middle. While unconventional, the VP70's front sight isn't actually a post, but a shadow created by the two ramps on the left and the right. We can even see the extra sear lever right next to where the stock attaches to the pistol. This is a very important part of that 3-round burst mechanism. And looking at the rear of the trigger guard, we can see what appears to be a cross-bolt safety. This safety is only present on the civilian model of VP70, and on this version, it would just be a little filler piece. So that safety does not belong on this gun. And looking at the stock, we can see that it's just one solid piece, whereas the real VP70 stock, it actually hinges open right at the butt plate to also function as a holster for the pistol that you can then attach to your belt. But here, it doesn't seem to have that capability or functionality. And also on the stock, we can see the fire selector. The top setting is just a red dot, and then the bottom is a white dot. On the real stock for a VP70, the top setting would be marked with a red 3 for 3-round burst function, and then the bottom setting would be marked with a red 1, indicating single fire mode. Overall, we only found a few minor complaints, though the appearance was actually better, I thought, than the Matilda depicted in the Resident Evil 2 remake that we've already looked at. Now for performance. We can see that the Matilda beats up Leon's shoulder quite a bit, as we would expect, but we'll notice that each of the rounds impact very near to each other in that 3-round burst. In reality, the first round of the burst would be closest to the point of aim, while the second would be shifted quite a bit up and to one side, and the third would be even further up and again shifted to one side, depending on the shooter's posture and experience. So they definitely tamed the recoil of these bursts much more than we would expect in real life. Now let's have a look at the fire rate. The VP70M's bursts fire 3 rounds at an absolutely blistering rate, about 2,200 rounds per minute. If you were to shoot the gun, your eyes wouldn't even perceive the 3 individual cycles of the slide. It would look as if you only fired 1 round. That is how fast 2,200 rounds per minute is. In-game, we can see that the rate of fire is very quick, but not quite fast enough. We can sometimes manage to get the gun to only fire 1 or 2 rounds of the burst if we let off of the trigger soon enough. But if it were cycling at the proper rate, we would almost never be able to fire fewer than that 3-round burst. And as for the damage, this handgun gets a firepower of 2.5 when fully upgraded, which is right about in the middle of the available handgun firepowers, all of which are chambered for the same 9mm cartridge. In reality, this handgun would actually be the weakest of the handguns. In designing this handgun to keep it a blowback action, they actually had to cut the rifling extra deep, which allows some of the propellant gases to blow by the bullet as it travels through the barrel. This leads to slightly lower muzzle velocities and thus energy to be transferred into your target. While it wouldn't be a whole lot weaker than the other handguns, it would definitely be the weakest by just a little bit. Alright, how about magazine capacity? When you first acquire the Matilda, it comes with a 15-round magazine, later making it all the way up to a staggering 100-round capacity. This is vastly oversized. The only magazines made for the VP70 had a capacity of 18 rounds, which is the second magazine upgrade in the game. In reality, you only get 6 trigger pulls per magazine in burst fire. They definitely did this to help make the gun more effective in-game since it burns through so much ammo. Overall, I found the performance to be very mediocre. Now for general circumstances. does it make sense that a black market merchant in remote Spain would be able to obtain an HK VP70M? Most likely not. Maybe if the merchant was stealing weapons from various militaries who actually adopted this gun, but that seems just really unlikely. So we're gonna have to say that this gun really wouldn't belong in the game. So they did very well with appearance, but then fell short on performance and general circumstances. I think that if they wanted to include this gun, they should have increased the effective recoil of burst fire, and had Leon bring the Matilda in as his starting pistol, gaining the stock that allows for burst fire along the journey. That is the only way that it would make sense for this gun to make an appearance in this game. And for that reason, I'd give the Matilda a realism score of 40%. While this handgun is very dear to my heart, it doesn't really belong here. But I hope you learned something. If you like this sort of content, please like, subscribe, and maybe even consider becoming a patron of this channel on Patreon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.